Tires premiered in 2024 on Netflix, and despite myself usually enjoying workplace comedies, I never quite got into the show. Despite that, a few weeks ago I was scrolling through Netflix and I decided to give the series a second chance and a rewatch. In season 1, it inherently feels as if the show doesn't necessarily stand on its own two legs, but season 2 definitely deviates away from the previous format and made the show somewhat compelling. So let's talk about what went different in season 1 and season 2 of Tires. Season 1 focuses on Will, who works for his father's auto repair chain in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Valley Forge Automotive. Will is squirrely and wired, but has the ambition to try and make the business succeed, even if that gets him chewed out by his father as well as the general manager of the company, named Dave. The dynamic between Dave and Will in season 1 is what drives the story forward, if you could even call it a story, as Will tries to make moves to grow the business, with Dave standing in the way of it. Then there is Shane, the cousin of Will, who works as a mechanic at the shop. Shane is over the top and bombastic, and is honestly how I would imagine a real life Eric Cartman. Shane Gillis' slapstick and dark humor are all over the place in the first season, and it tends to overshadow the actual plot that they're trying to progress. This is a very quick summary of everything that happens in season 1 of Tires. Will wants to get good press for the stores, so he invites a reporter to show off their female empowerment program. Shane goes on a tangent and makes the shop look terrible, only to realize that he could fix it by blackmailing the newspaper by buying a bunch of ad space. Will wants to incentivize people buying stuff at the shop, so let's show Shane trying to act out a blowjob on his cousin. Dave wants to do a sales contest to get the shops motivated. Well, Will's gonna make a move on a customer and get told to do sexual harassment training.
She's out. I could have had her. I was reeling her in. You couldn't get it, could you? I went, whoa! Hold on there, Tuna.
Episode 4 is quite literally just about Shane spreading rumors about Will. There's no other purpose for the episode. Will decides he wants to sell cheap tires, while Shane suggests doing a bikini car wash to incentivize people buying tires. Oh, and the whole subplot about Will being a virgin, well, that gets resolved in the season finale if you really did care about that. Workplace comedies aren't inherently plot heavy, but there still has to be some semblance of an idea there. Season 1 instead feels like a 20-minute comedy special every episode where Shane gets to do impressions and make offensive jokes.
No disrespect, fellas.
You're making it worse.
Oh, no disrespect, fellas.
It was good.
Side characters like Kyla, the only female recurring cast member, and Cal are essentially given nothing to do. They just stand around like statues with unfleshed out characters. But despite this deviates away from that in season 2, as they focus more on plot and character development while slightly toning down the humor. And it actually kind of builds off the plot that was set up in season 1, if you could even call it that. Will has found out that selling tires at cost has made people feel more comfortable with upsells and other repairs needed for their cars. With that, Valley Forge Automotive has crawled out of the financial hole that they were in and instead are in the black for 6 months straight. Will, with a clear vision for the company, wants to take a business loan out so that he can upscale the business. He wants to buy a larger bulk of inventory of tires and more locations to expand the business using his at-cost business model. Unfortunately for Will, his vendor, True Thread, wants to renegotiate the terms of their sales with Valley Forge. This becomes the A-plot for the entirety of Season 2, with True Thread tires standing in the way of Valley Forge's success. Instead of rooting for Will against Dave, you root for the success of the shop as a whole. This is the key swing for the show as they start to focus on the roadblocks placed in front of Will and Valley Forge. Shane is heavily toned down as well and is more fleshed out as a character despite still being a wisecracking class clown. They build him up as someone with real characteristics that you can empathize with, like the B-plot for the second season, his dynamic between his dad and himself. Shane's dad, Phil, is a successful businessman who wants to work again with his son. Shane, on the other hand, holds resentment for his father for how his previous time working with him went. This conflict between Phil and Shane really humanizes Shane and makes him more fleshed out. There are full episodes built around Shane's perceived lack of ambition, only to show how he starts to grow and wants to prove himself to be a capable member of the company. They also dedicate a whole arc for Cal, another mechanic that works alongside Shane. Cal has an internal conflict on whether or not to buy his dream car, and it mirrors Will's arc of wanting to expand the business. There's a clear theme of going for your dreams and reaching for the stars that seems to ground the show in reality. Season 1 seemed to be the exact opposite, with a lot of jokes that punched down with a lack of a plot that properly supported the show. The decision to pivot, or the change in tune from the writers, really made the show stand on its own 2 feet for season 2. It talks about toxic masculinity, relationships, and trying to aspire to be the best version of yourself that you can be, all the while having some of the same crude humor that works in doses. Having Shane talk about workplace harassment when he himself is the biggest purveyor of workplace harassment is the bit in itself.
I've seen hot chicks in wheelchairs. You ever see one of them flying down the street, little Hot Wheels coming right at you? You don't laugh at them, do you? You go, God damn, I wish I had her instead of my disgusting pig standing wife.
The one thing that hits a snag with the second season is how Shane is speculative of his girlfriend flirting with another guy and how he thinks that it is weird to have that guy friend, only for that guy friend to actually go and sleep with his ex after they break up. The rest of his arc is really nice though, with him adopting a turtle, reconnecting with his dad, and helping save the business. For Will, it is all about how he grows as a manager. He learns to take risks and to throw caution to the wayside while also standing up for himself more. All of the characters have some kind of transformative arc where they end up better than when they were. They actually have some kind of resolution. Even if Kyla's is realizing that her boyfriend only wants to have threesomes with another dude because he's gay. Then there's Dave, who eats like a slob and cheats on his wife, but you're happy that he's suffering because he's been a dick to Will for the entirety of the show. It goes to show what can happen when you actually give characters something to do, rather than being props for a Shane Gillis comedy special.
I'm inbred, you fucked your sister.
You know what? I'm gonna tell Aunt Barb you said that, and good luck at Christmas.
Phil ends up buying Valley Forge as Will's father wants to retire. This gives them the capital to expand, only before True Thread tries to dash those dreams. They are blackballed by True Thread and told that they have to raise the price of the tires or they're going to be in breach of contract. Shane then has to adapt and think on his feet, and all season long he has stated that he doesn't want to be a problem solver, only for him to be the one that saves Valley Forge from going under by making fleet accounts with local businesses in the area, which secures a bunch of work for the garage. And this all stems from Shane talking with a guest starring Vince Vaughn about how to apply oneself in an episode where they go to a tire convention, which sounds like a bizarre concept for an episode, but it's actually the most well-rounded one of the series. When Cal gets his car totaled by a drunk driving former NASCAR driver, Shane makes a deal with a local dealership to get him another classic car to replace his old one. It goes to show the lengths that Shane has grown as a person and makes him a likable character rather than some random douchebag, as well as showing why he is in fact this douchebag, with his father being the kind of motivator for this.
I love you, dude.
I can't hug you. I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna hug you. I love you, man.
You, Cal.
Look at this. This is fucking incredible.
It is Shane's arc that actually made me invested and intrigued for a season 3 of Tires, and I can safely say that you should check out the series sometime. If not for some laughs, but to see a growing show that might just make it into the mainstream someday. If you enjoyed this review, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. If there's something that you want to see me review, leave a comment down below, and I will try to do that and see you all next time.
High on meth and blast Kyla in the face.